Reports by the Federal Trade Commission show that college students are the most vulnerable to credit card fraud. So when you're at the ATM, make sure to keep your PIN and other personal information protected. Police Chief Carl Metzger says that people can prevent pedestrian accidents by simply looking up from their phone while crossing the street. Here at UCF's Emergency Operations Center, they use a special technology that's an entire map of campus. So for instance, if there's a wildfire on campus, they could simply circle it and share that information with first responders. 1 minute. By the time this timer goes off, over 24 people in the U.S. will be victims of rape, stalking, or physical violence by an intimate partner. This chip right here contains human cells that can be used to mimic different organ systems like the brain, liver, and muscles. UCF data found that more than half of UCF graduates get a job after graduation. Career Services right here offers a job portal called Handshake, where students can look at different jobs in their field.
Do you value a career where you're making a difference?
That's what school counseling student Jessica Pierce says when it comes to Florida teacher salary. She says teachers who stay in the field value impact despite the low pay. However, Pierce says it's unfortunate because teachers deserve better pay.
The lower pay, the quicker we're going to push out those great educators. They're just not going to stick around if the pay's not great. So I think it's really sad.
Florida moved from 45 to 46 in the nation for the lowest teacher pay. Orange County Teacher Association President Wendy Dormel says teachers often have to work part-time jobs to make ends meet. She says private and charter schools should not be funded in the same way as public schools.
We should not be using our tax dollars to fund unaccountable charter and private schools. They're not held to the same standards as public schools are, and they're draining our funds for public schools.
Private and charter schools often have more resources for teachers, while public school teachers pay out of pocket for supplies. Notebooks, colored pencils, pens, all common classroom items that teachers have to buy with their own salaries because public schools have low funding. Pierce says if you are passionate about teaching, to still go for it no matter the pay. In Orlando, Abisola Adeyemo, UCF Nightly News. Catholic Campus Ministry staff member Jamie Jones says she's participated in 5 pro-life protests. Jones says her faith plays a major role in her opinion on abortion.
From a Catholic perspective, we actually believe that life begins at conception.
The fetal heartbeat is detected about 6 weeks into the pregnancy. At this point, the doctors say the embryo is about the size of this lentil right here. But for pro-life supporters, this embryo is still a baby. That's why Florida House Representative Mike Hill says he filed the heartbeat bill. The bill bans abortion after the fetal heartbeat is detected. However, the exceptions include cases of rape, incest, or risk to the mother's life. It states women getting an abortion after the heartbeat is detected will be convicted of a third-degree felony.
Well, if you know that it would be a felony, they might be more willing to then follow the law, not just flout the law and have an abortion anyway.
House Representative Anna Escamani says the bill would completely ban abortions for women in Florida. She says most women do not find out they are pregnant until 6 weeks. She says restrictive measures do not reduce abortion rates.
It would be better to not stigmatize the women and providers they trust and interfere in that personal medical decision, but to instead pursue contraception access, to pursue sex ed programs that really focus on this prevention piece.
Jones says that although she is pro-life, she still understands pro-choice perspectives. In Orange County, Abisola Adeyemo, UCF Nightly News. Junior psychology major Alex Lewis started using drugs at 15. With peer pressure from the wrong crowd, he says he soon became addicted to pills, heroin, and other drugs. Lewis says that every day was a cycle of finding money for drugs.
I just really had no friends, my family, they were pretty much done with me after a while.
According to the NSC, the odds of dying of an accidental opioid overdose is 1 in 96. For the first time, this surpasses the odds of dying of a car crash, which is 1 in 103. Carfentanil is a synthetic opioid that's about 5,000 times more powerful than heroin. A lethal dose is about the size of Abraham Lincoln's nose on this penny. Associate Director of Healthcare Tom Hall says that the drug's addictive properties is what spurred the high demand.
And the more we're dependent on the drug, the less our brain naturally produces those endorphins. And then we end up with the addiction.
5 years ago, Lewis decided to get sober. After being charged with a felony for drug possession, he wanted to make a change in his life.
I was just like, I want to die, but I'm not okay with being stupid. And going after drugs really makes me stupid. And that was kind of like the first spark, I guess, of wanting to be sober.
Now, Lewis says he's motivated to stay sober and make improvements in the rehab industry. In Orange County, Abisola Adeyemo.